Everyone, Elektra here. I have had a kind of a weird Sunday, half depressed, and went out and did some walking around downtown Grayslake, and then I did about 2 hours of door dashing, which I'm glad I did. I made a good amount of money for only 2 hours of work. I made, I think, something around $40 in 2 hours. I have discovered, I mean, it was no mystery that there's a certain area called Libertyville and Vernon Hills. That's a very upper middle class, borderline rich area. And you know that's true when there's a Whole Foods there. So that alone tells you, okay, that's where I need to be focusing. I need to be like, it's worth a 7-mile drive south to get to that zone, because there's certain zones when you do DoorDash. Anyway, that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to talk about 10 other things that are probably less interesting. No, but actually, I do want to talk about the crisis of our time right now. More just like in an abstract sense. We all kind of know what it is, I think. You either think it's a crisis or you think things are normal because you are not yet in crisis. That's essentially where we are. I feel like everything's been done to me that can possibly be done to me. Some self-inflicted, some not. But in any case, I don't feel like I have anything else left to lose in this life. So I'm ready for whatever has to happen. But the people that I know are suffering are the people that have had this illusion of having this middle-class professional life. The older millennials that have done relatively well up until recently and have just lost their jobs, perhaps for the first time in their lives. This is a hell of a time to figure out who you actually are. I'm lucky that I had the last 17 years to figure that out on my own time. I mean, yeah, I took my sweet ass time getting there, but I had that luxury. Excuse me. People today I had the luxury that I didn't have to speed run my own personal collapse. That I already went through that. I already did that. I've already lived that experience. I got my personal guillotines out. I decapitated everything that didn't belong, and here I am. This is the end results. We live in a country where 200 something million people are probably, prime working age, that have not a clue who they actually are without their upper middle class professional badge of honor of being whatever title and whatever company, that they can't even tell you themselves what the hell it means, let alone like being told and like knowing, oh, okay, so you do this for a living? Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's more like, what language is that? Because I don't have any idea what you actually do. And that's a whole other, actually a side issue that we may as well go into now, is the fact that when you go out in life, in anything in life, you go do something, you see people doing jobs, right? That's not uncommon. People work in real life still. And those people have a real impact on real people every day, all day long. I'm seeing it now a lot. Now that I'm door dashing, I'm going into like restaurants, some nice, like an upscale, some like fast food, Raising Cane's, for example. But either way, I see people working hard, and they are generally good at what they do, especially up here in Chicago. The workers up here are really top notch, I have to say. Everyone here is good at their job. They care about their job. And it just shows. Like, it reminds me of California. This is how it was there too. So again, like, interesting, blue state trait, right? The red states have the most unproductive, lazy, demoralized workers. I mean, and I hate to say lazy because that implies that it's their fault. It's not. It's the system's fault for demoralizing them to the point where they become lazy, or they think they're lazy, and therefore they act out that role of being lazy. That's not true here. Real jobs in the real world pay zero money, though. And that's what a lot of people are going to be finding out, that are losing these 6-figure corporate jobs and have no idea of what to do, or perhaps have never even worked like that type of job before, service level, waiting tables in a restaurant or delivery or retail. These are all things I've done over the last 17 years while I found who I think I am. You know, that's always subject to change, of course, right? But I was working retail 10 years ago, almost 15 now, when it actually paid okay money for the time and for my location at that time. But now it's like you get a job in retail or any service job, and it's like, okay, why do I even have a job? This is not, I still can't sustain my lifestyle. I can't even begin to pay my bills. And so, yeah, basically, real jobs pay real money, but hardly any of it. And then these jobs they're leaving behind are like, don't even exist in the real world. I mean, who knows what half these people actually did or do when they were working corporate. They were talking, they had 10 meetings a day, never actually doing anything. And they'll tell you this firsthand. Like they're not shy about this usually. And it's just like, we know we're on the right track again as a country when you can have these low level service jobs helping people face to face directly all day long and like actually earn a living income. And that's just how the economic system works. Like, I don't believe in government subsidies to make jobs living wages or anything like that. I believe a properly working economy is going to pay people the true value of what they're worth if things are allowed to actually happen as they should, and they're not right now. It's not to say government can't do things to help make things happen as they should, but it's going to be more along the lines of like New Deal policies, New Deal policies for the 21st century type thing. When real world jobs helping real people in real life face to face are actually paying equal to or even more than these jobs that are hidden behind secure entrances in like these weird corporate campuses in suburbs, and we never actually see what they're doing. Like, I don't know, there's something I mean, that's not the only thing that's shady about corporate America, let's face it. I mean, but that's a huge thing about it too, is like, why is it so separate from everything? Why are they behind secure doors? Why do they have to work in these like, why is the public not allowed into their workplaces? Like, if you work at a service level job, the public can walk in all day long. You have zero protection. Somebody can walk in with a gun and shoot you before you even realize what's happening in any fast food restaurant or retail store. That's just a fact of life in those jobs. Yeah, so I think economically, that's what we need to look for. And that's why I think we need to do something along the lines of like Franklin Delano Roosevelt's, what were they called? I just blanked on what they're called. The Four Truths. Is it the four something? Yeah. Freedom from want, freedom from 3 other things. Want is the only one I really am concerned with on a day-to-day basis, like 99% of other Americans, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I was out delivering tonight and I got some good tips. I figured out like you want to get, I mean, it sounds basic, but you want to get the most money for the least amount of miles. I mean, that's just and I discovered the fact you can decline offers. If you get an offer saying, oh, go to Arby's and this will be this will pay you $5 and it's a 10-mile trip. No way in hell am I accepting that. If it's a 10-mile trip, like it better pay close to $20, or at the very least like 15, maybe 12 if it's a slow night. But 2 to 1 is the ideal ratio, of course. But just like everyone else is hurting now, so that's less money for tips. But it doesn't matter if you decline offers, just so you know. I found that out. Basic research on Google. Yeah, so what else? Let me collect my thoughts. Let's think of this crisis as just a big game, a big video game, if you will, and we're facing a final boss right now. We have our final boss in front of us. We have faced several final bosses before in the previous iterations of this game series called America dash 1776 dash question mark. That's the game we're playing. The first edition of the game was America defeating England, King George, and basically becoming their own country. So that one ended well. The second one was America, the northern states specifically, defeating the southern slave power, making slavery illegal and freeing the slaves. The third one, World War II. We defeated fascism in Europe and Asia, for that matter. What is it now? I like to say that we have a grand amalgamation of King George meets the Southern slave power oligarchy meets Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Stalin, if you will, even, all rolled up into one big enchilada right now. That is this crisis. We are facing a King George meets the Southern slave power oligarchy. If it can be embodied in one single person, it is in this person we're facing right now. Krasnov, in other words. He's got every quality of all the fascists we've ever known in previous history. So that's what we're up against. We are up against the ultimate final boss in this video game series of America, 1776 question mark. It doesn't have to end in 2026 or 27 or 28. It could have ended in 1780, it could have ended in 1861. If the South thought that they would win the Civil War as quickly as they thought, they could have invaded the North and captured DC relatively early in 1861 or 62. And oddly enough, we'd be in a very similar situation as we do now, considering that, in my opinion, Southern slaveholder oligarchs and their descendants have captured the federal government of the United States. No war even had to be fought to do it this time. That's the power of winning the peace, being good at propaganda, which the South is very good, and winning the cultural war of what this country is. Like, everything this country is now is because of the South. Like, this whole country has really been Southernized, I think, in a lot of ways. Even the northern states now are very much like, I don't know. No reason to get into too many details here, but yeah, that's our situation. And voice lessons are going well. I sang karaoke 3 times last week. Did I mention that? I'm not sure, but yeah, it was fun. Look forward to doing more of that. And other than that, I think that's about all for me tonight. Thank you for watching. If you like watching the travails of a 45-year-old transgender male-female transitioning with level 1 autism, depression, anxiety, and basically ADHD provisional, please give me a like, share, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.